You know who's always been portrayed as looking cool? Lucifer. The original fallen angel has always looked sick in media, even in Digimon where he's a bit of a twunk. Now that I think about it, he does belong in a mid-2000s YA story. Like Twilight.
I know what you are.
Say it out loud.
A twink! But Lucimon the deck? Yeah, it's super slow. Bit of a time waster for both you and your opponent. If there was ever reason to say no to the devil, this deck was advocating for it. The deck really began to form in EX6 and BT18, where it rallied around a gimmick. Make your opponent choose. Do they remove a card on their field, or let you recover and trash your security? And most of the times, the choice was, well, it hurt because it felt like you were shooting yourself in the knee or the calf. They both hurt a lot, but chances are that you'd live. The deck was way too slow, and it didn't have a conventional evolution line, as it was just a 3, a 5, and a 7. So evolving always meant passing turn. Digivolving into just Lucimon would always cost at least 5. Or 6 if you evolved into Chaos Mode. So while other decks were doing a whole bunch of combo stuff, setting up things, 9 times out of 10, you were just doing one action. Digivolving up, passing turn. And to top it all off, Lucimon Satan Mode, a card that we waited for almost 4 years to get, it sucked. It was a secret rare, but man was it not good. Sick art though, but very underwhelming. Now as part of EX10, we get almost a full line of Lucimon cards, just minus a new Lover Mode. And I've got to ask a very important question. Is this any good? Will it make it meta? Tune in and find out. Alright, so up first we have our new egg for the deck, a level 2 purple Cupomon, which has an inheritable of your turn, once per turn, when any of your Digimon with Lucemon in their name moves from the breeding area to the battle area, by trashing one card in your hand, draw one, and gain a memory. This card is great on like so many levels, mainly because all of your level 3 Lucemons can only evo from a level 2 if it's Cupomon. In the past, you've been forced to run just Cupomon, and guess what? For the most part, they've all sucked. So this one being archetypal and focused on just Lucimon is great on so many levels, especially because once you move with that Lucimon, you'll be able to trash a card in hand to gain a memory and draw another card. Not to mention, there are cards in the deck that want to be in your trash, so this is a quick and easy way to just get them from your hand into your trash. It also stacks as well if you have multiple of them out, so it just combos so well, especially with the next card I'm going to be talking about. This is definitely sauce. If this isn't your egg, you are definitely playing the deck wrong. Okay, moving on to level 3, we have the angelic boy himself, Lucimon, which digivolves from a Cupomon for a cost of 5, has blocker, and has a breeding when digivolving effect of this Digimon may move. End of your turn, by returning 5 cards of Lucimon in their text from your trash to the bottom of the deck, this Digimon may digivolve into Lucimon Chaos Mode from the trash without paying the cost, with an inheritable of blocker. Now, I just want to clarify, the breeding effect when digivolving, this Digimon may move, that means it can move from breeding into the main area, not Lucemon's moving out or busting a move. Just want to clarify that. But I think that also fixes one of the deck's biggest problems, as a lot of the times, turn 1, I would just flip over my egg, digivolve Lucimon, pass 5, and then we're done. That's it. At least now, I can now digivolve for 5 and then push up. If I have the Cupomon underneath, I can pitch a card from my hand to then gain a memory and draw a card. So it's going to be costing 4. And look, okay, that may sound like an exorbitant amount, but you gotta understand, Lucemon players are accustomed to paying at least 5 for everything. So 4 is a plus. Not to mention, the end of turn effect really comes in handy in the mid to late game, as I could just digivolve into my Lucemon on the back, push it up, end of my turn triggers, I return those 5 cards with Lucemon in text, which includes the options, to then digivolve into Chaos Mode for free. And then Chaos Mode, when digivolving effect activates, it does its whole thing, and then bam, I've done a lot more than I've done before, all for the cost of 4 memory. And now, not to mention, my Chaos Mode is a 13k blocker. Being able to save all that memory makes this card just so good, and not to mention that when digivolving effect is optional, so if you want, you can still stay in the back. This card is just so good for the deck. It is 100% sauce, and this is an easy 4 of for the deck. Up next, we have our Lucimon Chaos Mode, which is a level 5 purple and yellow Digimon that digivolves from a purple or yellow level 4 Digimon for a cost of 7, or a Lucimon for a cost of 5. It has a when digivolving, when attacking effect. By trashing one card in your hand, your opponent may delete one of the Digimon or Tamers. If this effect didn't delete anything, recover +1. All turns, once per turn, when this Digimon will leave the battle area, your opponent may delete one of the Digimon or Tamers. If this effect didn't delete, it doesn't leave. Now, when you first compare these to the other 2 Lucimon Chaos Modes, you'd probably think this is worse, as this only recovers, while those other 2 trash your opponent's security and recover. And you know what? Yeah, that's fair. But do you know what this has over them? A when attacking effect that isn't once per turn. With your other Lucemon, you digivolve into them, they do their when digivolving effect, and then what? They're just gonna kind of sit there. Every single turn this is on the field, you just keep swinging and you keep making them make that choice. Other ones are on when digivolving, this is every single turn. What's crazy to me is that when you combine this with the best card of support, this card can just put in some serious work. And you know what I find the funniest thing about this? It's the, if I'm going down, I'm taking it with me attitude. If your opponent tries to move this card for any reason, they've got to pay the toll. If they don't move one of their bodies, you live. So it's like getting jamming with the benefits if you're doing a swing and hit something bigger than you. Or if they try and counter time you. You go, okay, counter time me all you want, but if that's your only body on field, you've got to delete your ace, or else I'm not leaving. And that, I think, is beautiful. Or, you know, they guys remove you a second time. Personally, I think this is better than the BT18 Lucemon Chaos Mode, and this should be a 3 to 4 in your deck. This is sauce and has a ton of potential. Okay, and up next we have our level 7 all-purple Lucimon Satan Mode, which digivolves from a level 6 purple Digimon for a cost of 6, or a Lucimon Chaos Mode for a cost of 6. It has an on-play on digivolving effect. You may play one Lucimon larva form from your trash in an empty breeding area without paying the cost. Delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level. It also has an additional effect of when digivolving when attacking once per turn, your opponent may delete one of the Digimon or Tamers. If this effect didn't delete, trash top security, and the Digimon unsuspends. As mentioned before, the old Satan mode, it sucked. It didn't really do a whole lot for the deck. It did fit the theme of being too slow and too expensive, so it had that going for it. That card was actually 100% lost, but this new one, it's a step in the right direction. This card having an on play lets it combo really well with EX10 Lucemon Chaos Mode, allowing you to get more bang for your buck off of that all turn effect. While yes, you still need to play a Lucemon Larva from trash, the payoff is a black hole style effect for all your opponent's highest level Digimon. What's also nice is with the other effect a when digivolving and when attacking effect, as it gives your opponent the classic choice, delete something on their side of the field, and if they don't, trash top security, and you unsuspend. I do really wish the unsuspend wasn't tied to the trash effect. If it just said blah 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 blah, then this Digimon may unsuspend, it would have been better. But it is tied, which means you have to hope your opponent doesn't delete something. So it takes that control away from you and gives it to your opponent. I will say though, making it when attacking is always a plus. You shouldn't run old Satan mode at all once this comes out. It may be Satan incarnate, but hot damn is it ever sauce. Our last card support is our purple and yellow option, Paradise Lost, which is a 2-cost option that while you have a Digimon Lucemon in its name on the field, you may ignore this card's color requirement. It has a trash end of your turn effect. If you have a Digimon Lucemon in its name, by returning this card to the bottom of the deck, trash your top security, and one of your Digimon attacks without suspending. It also has a main effect. Until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon with Lucemon in its name gains Raid, Piercing, Blocker, and plus 3k. With a security effect, you may play one Lucemon from your trash without paying the cost. So like, is this option based on Lucemon just beating you up in an alley? This card is insanely good. For a cost of 2, you give your Lucemon access to Raid, Piercing, and Blocker. And on top of all that, you also get plus 3k DP. And once it's in your trash, which is actually pretty easy thanks to cards like the Cupramon or the new Chaos Mode, you can use that great end of turn effect to attack without suspending. And what's even better is that the effect just specifies you have a Lucemon on the field. It doesn't specify you need a Lucemon to attack. So if you have like something else out, like call an Ukomon or another sacrificial body, you can make that swing as opposed to your Lucemon. The end of turn effect works just like our Digimon Superior Mode's effect, allowing you to attack without suspending, even if your body's already attacked, which is great for that final check or to just swing twice. Oh, that's why the new Chaos Mode when attacking effect isn't once per turn. I can then swing twice with it. That can cause a lot of damage. This option is really good, as let's just say you have 1 memory left, you can play the option for a cost of 2 and then pass. And then for once in Lucemon's player's life, you're not giving your opponent a ton of memory. Also, that security effect can be super helpful as you can just play a Lucemon. This card is so good for the deck. Definitely at least a 3-up for the deck, and it's way better than Gospel of the Fallen Angel. This card is major sauce. Now that's all the support, but how does it really stack up? And honestly, the deck is really good when everything runs smoothly, but 9 times out of 10, it will have a bit of a slow start. If you don't see your EX10 Lucemon, you're just going to be sitting in the back for that extra turn. I will say the deck isn't very memory efficient compared to other top tier meta threats, as let's just say you digivolve in the back to one of your other Lucemons that isn't EX10 and give your opponent 5. Okay, cool, that's a free Nokia playout, and then potentially being able to play a couple more bodies, do some more searching, and get things ready. Then it's your next turn, I push up, and then I spend 5 or 6 going into my Chaos Modes. Maybe I get a swing in, but worst case, that next turn my opponent might be going to Omnimon. That being said though, if your opponent isn't removing a body from their board, you are recovering most times, so being at 6 or 7 security can help in potentially delaying your death by a turn or two, and in that turn or two, you're able to really put a lot of pressure with the Lucemon stuff. Unless they're playing Galacticmon, then you might be kind of cooked. There are so many decks running around the meta currently that are just able to gain a ton of memory, and with Lucemon, we kind of don't have a lot of that. Aside from memory boosts and maybe a copy of Blinding Ray and Jack Raid, you're not really gaining a whole lot of memory or having a memory setter. And that's not even to say there isn't a tamer, because thanks to Digimon Liberator, we do actually have a webcomic specific tamer. Remember this goober? Yeah, him. I mean, they went as far as giving him official art, so you can just slap it onto a card, give it a bunch of effects, and call it a day. And man, think about it, Bandai. All 2 Dokusan fans, give them what they're craving. A full art that they can go crazy for. Until that day, you can do what I'm doing, which is running copies of Structure Deck Map. I rate this support a Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 out of 5. This is some phenomenal support. It helps fix a lot of the deck's major issues, but kind of like Twilight, some people are going to think this deck is still garbage, and some people are going to think this is absolutely amazing. It all depends on how you look at it and what your preferences are as a player. It's a fantastic control deck, but again, just with a slow start. And here is my deck list. So as you can see right off the bat, a lot of Lucemon cards, as well as 2 copies of Ukumon to help get me some more search, because you can never have too much search for a deck. Leviathan and Biting Crush are both here as well, because Lucimon Chaos Mode from EX6 can also play out a 7 Great Demon Lord card. So playing this off and popping off with that can be just really powerful too. Jedi's House is here to give it just a bit more DP buff, and when checked in security, I can play a Lucemon for my trash. Lucemon X Antibody is just a great card to go over most of your Lucemon Chaos modes and even your Satan modes. And like I mentioned before, as a tamer, you don't have to run Mat, but I personally like it because having a memory setter helps to make me feel a bit better about spending memory on my turn, and with all the hand discard, I can suspend it to gain more memory. I will say it does suck having to play it for a cost of 4 because this deck has no other free play out tamers, but don't worry man, Dokusan is coming, I promise. And with that, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, maybe consider subscribing, as it helps show us that you enjoy the content. Anyways, I've been Pro Ninja, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.